Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Being with me.
Good. How are you?
Perfect. Perfect. All is well. I was looking forward for this interview. It's gonna be a very interesting episode. I checked your resume. You have a lot to say. And for the progress, the program will be
Yeah.
focused about three questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? And how did you know that this was the way to go? So, Young, tell us what you do for a living, please.
What do I do for a living? Right now, I build businesses. So I am kind of in a weird part of my career where I still do consulting and I still do business coaching, and that helps me fund my business building ventures. But the goal for me right now, and what I really do primarily is I build hard businesses. So small businesses, service businesses, trades businesses, and I'm building about 3 to 4 a year. I've been doing this for about 3 years now.
I take it you don't sleep much, do you?
I do. I sleep plenty. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah. I have 2 kids. I spend plenty of time with my kids. Yeah. It's yes, I do work a lot, but I do sleep plenty. Yes.
Yeah, and for the record, you look like you're 20 years old. So just to put it
Yeah.
out
Thank you
there.
for saying that. Yeah. I think it's just the genes. Yeah. I definitely am older than that. Yeah. I've done it quite a bit, and I've over the last 5 years, I've taken a lot of my experiences scaling other companies and
Yeah, I
built
was
an
about to ask because were you like walking the streets one day and you're like, let me build three or four businesses a year for some time,
no.
or did something else happen?
Yeah, I definitely had a midlife crisis. I turned 40 about 5 years ago, and I had two young girls, and I just wanted to do more than my, 9 to 5 W-2 job.
Yeah.
And I wanted to figure out ways to circumvent that. And I crafted a plan and I reverse engineered it and built myself a 5 year plan that I started 3 years ago. And I spent quite a long time researching and figuring out how I wanted to do it. And I built the plan, and I'm on year 3 of my 5 year plan. And so I'm working really, really hard to try to create cash flowing assets for myself.
And so far so good?
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's very, very hard what
Yeah.
I'm doing, and it's not easy. And I'm failing a lot, and I'm learning a lot, and it's very, very painful. But I am technically 1 year ahead of schedule.
You know, it's supposed to be hard. I
Yeah,
love my 9 to 5. I'm a
yeah,
9 to 5. It's very difficult to grab my attention, work-related stuff after jobs ended.
mhm.
Uh, but you have to do it. I mean, now, when I say you have, that's that saying, if you want things that you don't have, you have to do things other people don't do, and
Yeah.
that's
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but I literally have a poster that says that right there.
It's
It
not
literally,
cheesy. What
yeah.
this is they're like, drink plenty of water in the summer. That's not cheesy. That's
Yeah, just a sign. It's kind of cheesy because it actually talks about in like more monetarily, but it says
yeah.
in order to become the 1%, you must do what 99% won't do.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Those girls of yours, they have a tremendous example because kids grow up and basically the first example we have are the parents. So well done, man. Well done.
Oh, we'll see. I mean, I mean, I need to get there first, right? Everything can fall apart. I still have
Well, you're
another
on the
year to
way.
go. Yeah.
My third question is a bit tricky. I'll tell you why I'm asking, and then I'll tell you the question. Probably checked it out already. It's how did you knew that this was the way to go? You did cover some of it, but the reason I'm asking is because I'm sure you've noticed that as well. That people tend to go to colleges, universities, they have this stigma that once you get the degree, your life will be way easier. And
Mm,
maybe that was true in some sectors about 30 years ago, but I think you and I, we both know that that's not necessarily true. As a matter of fact, it can cause a lot of trouble. Uh,
yeah.
I personally, I've lost friends, I've lost money. I'm sure so did you. Everybody have
Hmm.
tried.
Yeah.
But when you start losing time, now there's the issue here because they just basically, and you're wiser than I, although nobody can tell you are a little bit older than I am. So You can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but they're losing a lot of time over there. They're studying something that's completely not for them. It was just the first thing they were able to grab.
Yeah.
And then they move into that aspect of real life when, because, for me, college is not exactly real life. It's a very well prepared simulation, but not really.
Yeah.
So they start working a job that's definitely not for them, and they end up being miserable people that have lost a lot of time. And here in Europe, I'm from in Southern Europe, the education is absurdly cheap. We have a few
Mm,
very expensive universities, but
mm,
overall, and I've given this example before, when I graduated a private college, and I was
mm,
working as a bartender when I was studying. I was able to pay for the whole thing, and
mm.
I still had money on the side. So just
Nice.
perspective.
Very
So
cool.
in Europe, it's very affordable, but it's not about the money. That's why I said it. That's why I started like that. It's not about the money. It's about the time. And how did you personally knew that this was the way to go? You did highlight the two kids that you have, and you want to build something. That how did you? Was it a gut feeling that you had? What was it about you?
That's a lot to unpack. So to answer the
Yeah, no, that's
question,
why I left it at the end.
the question, to answer directly, I'd say it goes back to just having an epiphany that, you know, I have a good stable job and
Yeah.
good W-2 job and I guess now in retrospect, speaking this year, no one's stable anymore. But
Fair enough.
I had a good job and I had a good career path, and you could get technically good and more valuable with hard skills and keep moving up the corporate ladder. But inevitably, when you do the calculus and the math, it just wasn't fast enough for me.
Yeah.
And the real sobering fact for me was, and again, in the US, it's a little more expensive for college, and most people are paying off their college, loan, decades later. And two, I think a lot of the costs here are probably geared a little differently than maybe in where you're at. But I had a conversation with my financial planner, and he kind of sobered me up, and he said, "Hey, like." He talked to me about 3 or 4 hours about what retirement would look like and how that would all look. And I went downstairs and my wife looks up and says, "What did he say?" And I said, "He wants us to live a really shitty life for 25 years and then hope and we live another shittier life for the next 25 years and then we hope we die by 90 because there's no money left after that." And she said, "That's not what he said." I'm like, "It's not, but that's basically what he's told us, right? Because we have to put so much money aside to live at a medium level for the rest of our lives, and there's really no money left after that." And I started asking all my friends, and they're like, that's what it is. That's middle class. That's what life is. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And it really just sobered me up, and it really hurt me that I was in all respects very successful in my career, and I just didn't want to live a mediocre life, a medium life. Um, and I moved my family from expensive California, and I moved my family to a small town Texas, sight unseen. I've never been here before, just to lower my cost of living so I can afford to figure out how to change who I was so that
I
I
was
didn't
about to
have.
ask you because, and forgive the ignorance, man. It's just, Europeans don't know much about this, right? Is it really that different? I'm not talking about price. I'm talking about affordable lifestyle. Is it really that different from one state to another?
Oh yeah.
From
Oh yeah.
California to Texas? Can you
Oh
really
yeah.
tell the difference?
Oh yeah. Yes. I
Oh,
mean, emphatically yes. I mean, I don't know if you want me to color in the lines, but yes. Yes in all counts.
all
Every
right.
state, every state is like its own country.
Yeah,
There's different
no, that's true,
subcultures.
and that's the true for the European Union as well, but the standard is almost like very similar. Like for example, I'm from a country where the salaries are a bit lower, but we don't pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
Right? If you go to Germany, which is the engine of the union, you will get a pretty good salary, but the taxes will suffocate you. So it's pretty much, regulated. And that's why I was asking, is it really that different from California where you were and the town in Texas that you are right now?
Yes.
All right.
Very different. Yeah, and I'm telling you, and from my understanding, the EU is actually other countries coming together.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying that it's like other countries because we're one country, but it
yeah,
feels like other countries. We're not literally other countries unified. We're one country, but all the
yeah.
states feel like other countries. That's what I'm trying to explain. So yeah, it's very, very different.
Interesting.
Each state is very, very different, has its own laws, own taxations, has its own economies, and I think people also underestimate how big it is. The United States is massive. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Texas is huge by itself. I mean, it's unbelievably big. So it's a massive state.
I think it was, I don't have any numbers in front of me. I think it was like Germany and part of France combined. It's like huge. But
I think, yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not a geography buff, but I'm actually pretty sure it's bigger than even those two countries combined.
oh, all right.
Texas by itself, yeah.
I don't know much about it. I know I've read. I'm not sure. I read there is like
It's all right. Yeah,
a desert around it, like a
yeah.
desert area around it, but I'm
I
not
didn't know
sure.
I didn't know how big it was either. I mean, I'm from California, and I was like I just underestimated how big it was. I mean, when I was moving from California to Texas, it was shorter. It was shorter to go from California to Arizona, driving California from the coast to Arizona through New Mexico to get to the west side of Texas. So that was like, oh man, that was a big trek. Now it's easy, right? No, just
Yeah.
getting from the west side of Texas to the middle of Texas was almost 60% longer than going through three other
Oh,
states.
that's
Yeah.
a huge thing, man.
Texas is massive. Yeah, it's huge.
It is, but I love huge places because they really provide a lot of opportunities. They
I
really do.
think so. I think so. Yeah. So to answer your question about college, I mean, I think I went to college and I felt like I did it because my parents told me it was really important to do,
Yeah.
and I think it was really good that I did it. I felt like I learned a lot of social skills, networking skills. I'm able to point to the fact that I understand how institutional education works, and there's a lot of relevancy as it relates to benching what I know and like how I can like equate it to other people that have gone to college and have those comparison notes. But technically speaking and fundamentally speaking, I don't think it's as valuable in hindsight. And I don't actually care if my kids go to college or not. And nor do I make hiring decisions based on college anymore. And I haven't over the last, I don't know, I say like 10 or 12 years. It's not
Yeah.
even a question. It's not even a question I ask anymore. I don't even care.
Uh, Not to mention, there are countless free courses on the internet.
Yeah.
If you want to learn something, you can. There's this amazing little child. I don't even know how old she is. She's probably 6 or 7, first
Mm-hmm.
grade or something. And I don't know why. Where's because I know her parents pretty well. Her father is a good friend of mine. She started learning Greek.
Mm-hmm.
And she does it on her own. It's pretty amazing. And children learn faster than us because the brain is not burdened. So yeah, free courses everywhere. You're right about that. It's important, but it's not essential.
I think it serves a purpose, right? So if you can calculate the ROI on it, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think it made a lot of sense 20 years ago, maybe even 40 years ago, more so. But I think now, unless you're getting something that's highly regulated, institutionalized, or some sort of certification program that you absolutely need because it's a government regulated function that requires decades of specialty knowledge and nuance and context, like doctors or civil engineers or things like that, right? That have like a lot of parameters and rules to create protections, right? And function expertise. Those things make a lot of sense. I
Yeah.
get that, but some of this other stuff, you don't really need it anymore. And and I'm not saying you can't learn it from a college. It's just that in the US, the price of college has gone up so much that the ROI doesn't make sense for those non, certified or channel specific like regulated roles are.
Yeah, you do have to, the P&L thing, profit and loss, once you calculate it, it really has to make sense.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what? Yeah. Yep. Yes.
I have a side question. I know it's complicated, but if you can just give me a simple one. Building a business, there is a template, of course there is, but there are always things that you said it perfectly, you get down, you get up sometimes. And that's just life. What was the most common issue that you have encountered in your professional life, not only in building the business, but in general in the professional life when you're about, because you have to have some solid experience before that. That
Mhm.
experience stays with you all the time. What was the most common issue that you had when you started building a business?
Okay. A common issue building a business,
Yes,
starting a business. I would say
starting a
that
business.
sure. So starting a business, I would say that you're so hardwired from school and work and being a W-2 to learn skills, be great at this thing. Let's say you're in finance. You're going to learn how to do accounting. You're going to learn how to do book reconciliations, and then you're going to learn how to do controller work. You're going to learn how to do ERPs and AP. You have this technical track to be really, really great at your function, so that you can grow up the corporate ladder. And you always like learn more skills and you move up and you make more money. And that's kind of how we're trained from school on, right? But when you're starting a small business, it's actually the worst thing that you could do for your business. It's the reality is what you want to do is be medium or mediocre at everything. So what's the minimum that you need to do to get this marketing to work consistently? Then stop. Don't make it great. Just stop and then go work on sales. What can you do to make your conversion rates consistent and solid? And don't make it great. Just stop and then go to people and customer quality and product, and then don't overdo it. Just make it good enough that customers will buy it, and then stop and then go do this. And then you have to be my recommendation. It's really hard, and the number one advice I give to tech executives, especially because that's my network. I talk to a lot of executives asking me how to start a small business. And I say the number one thing you're going to struggle with is trying to be great at everything, because we've been conditioned for 30 years of work to be as good as we can at everything. But when you're starting a small business and you're starting a startup, you want to spend as little time to the minimum viable product on every component of your business and move on. And so that's my direct answer to the question about advice for business. And then as it relates to just best advice overall in work, it's that you still need to learn valuable skills. You need to have a valuable skill that you can provide the world. You need to be good at something, ideally two or three things that you can exchange for money, for value. And then once you have that, you need to immediately realize that it's actually less important than who you know. So be really good at what you have and be good at two or three things that are exchangeable for value, and then be more likable.
And ethics.
Yeah, I mean ethics. Yeah, sure, ethics is good too. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if you're talking about advice for what I've learned in the world, it's that the world works around. Are you competent and are you likable? That's really
Yeah.
the two things. Yep.
If
And
you
I'm
can have
assuming,
both,
and I'm
it's
assuming if you're
amazing.
unethical, you're not likable, right? So obviously, you can say ethics, but there's a lot of that lumped into likability.
You couldn't be more right. There was this, at the company that I work, it's pretty good. It's pretty big place, amazing,
Mhm.
massive place. And there's this good friend of mine. She's a tremendous woman. Everybody loves her. And, she kind of had to leave because she had another offer. Turns out it wasn't what she was expecting. And she gave me a call. She said, listen, can you help a little bit? Because I want to come back. Can you talk to people? I'm like, yeah, sure. She knows we all love her, and because you can tell, as fake as an administration can be, it can also be pretty genuine. And she was like, "Are you sure people weren't mad about me?" And we kind of were. And I said, "Well, that shouldn't be a problem. Will they like me? If I go?" I said, "Listen, nobody liked you anyway." None of
Mhm.
us never liked you. And she was like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? So, yeah, but being likable is super important. If you can be both competent and likable, yours is the world and everything that's in it.
That's right.
And with that said, Han, if you don't have any, Yang, sorry, if you don't have anything to add, please don't forget to send me all of your social media links, and so on and so forth, so that I can put it in the description below.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I just have a one website, and I'll send it to you.
Please do. I wanted to put it because people can check it out and get in touch with you.
Sure, sounds great.
Right on. Have a
Hey,
nice
thanks
day.
for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being with me. Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.